Good morning, everyone. We've all been there. You've had a bad day. You've taken one down, so you sing a sad song to try and turn it around. There's a lot of things we do to try and keep us calm and collected throughout the stressful world we live in. We do yoga. We exercise. We meditate. We experience nature. We sleep. We play video games. We jump out of perfectly good airplanes. And, well, some of us, we tweet about it. But, let me tell you, there is nothing as satisfying as smashing things. Introducing Rec Room, Seattle's premier stress-relieving destination, where you can wreck, destroy, and smash anything you'd like to your heart's content without any consequences. We've put together an amazing team of experts in our industry to make this dream a reality. We have Jamie Wagner, our Chief Operations Officer, Jacob Voles, our Head of Store Development, Riley Flynn, our Chief Communications Officer, Gabby Keski, our Chief Marketing Officer, and Henry Lennar, our Chief Financial Officer. I'm Eric Nielsen, the CEO. So to kick off our presentation, I'd like to hand it over to Jamie, who's going to be working on our vision.
So when you're a business student, you take BCMU. When you take BCMU, you turn in a doctorate assignment. When you turn in a doctorate assignment, you fail your doctorate assignment. When you fail your doctorate assignment, you get stressed. And when you get stressed, you want to let out that stress. When you want to let out that stress, you go drinking at the Old North Face Tavern. When you go drinking at the Old North Face Tavern, you get too drunk and end up sleeping in the alley. When you end up sleeping in the alley, you wake up to a dog licking your face. Don't wake up to a dog licking your face. Go to the Rec Room. We are a prime destination to relieve stress in a fun and safe environment. We are located on the Ave, next to University Way Northeast, next to Urban Outfitters. Our hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 9:30 p.m., Friday, 3:30 to 11:30 p.m., and Saturday to Sunday, 12 to 11:30 p.m. Because at the end of the day, who doesn't want to say they got wrecked on the Ave? It's a perfect place for anyone who is stressed, frustrated, looking to do some damage, a student dealing with finals, a teacher dealing with grading finals. If you're having a date night, you're getting a divorce, birthday party, the list goes on and on and on. So there are two types of customers who want to take advantage of what the Rec Room has to offer. Customer one wants fast stress relief. They want thoughtless fun. They want it as cheap as possible. These are individuals, couples, business people, and students. Customer two wants choices. They want to be able to bring in their own stuff. They want to come into a room that's fully furnished. They want a private space to customize their experience. These are corporate team building events, youth groups, fraternities, and sororities. So the question is, how do we give both groups what they want?
That's where I come in. My name is Jacob Voles, and I'm the project manager for the design and construction of Rec Room's facility. I have experience in construction management and interior design, as well as carpentry, by being a long-time member of the staff of the reality TV show Extreme Home Makeover. As Jamie was saying, Rec Room has two very different types of customers. These different groups have different priorities, different needs, and they need different spaces. And that's why the Rec Room has, wait for it, 2 floors. By separating different groups of people onto different floors, we can tailor each customer's need to fit exactly what they're looking for. For our first group, we have the range. The range is all about minimizing barriers to smashing. We've made it incredibly easy to walk up to the front desk, purchase the items that you want to smash a la carte for $2 an item, and a $1 flat cleanup fee, and choose a lane. The range is a series of 5 lanes with steel backing. Customers can throw ceramic plates, glass picture frames, glass bottles at the wall or floor, as well as hit these items with baseball bats, baseball, a slingshot, or any other weapon which they might rent from us. The range is cheap, effective, doesn't take much thinking and planning, and provides fast stress relief. The range is completely visible to the street by way of a fortified polycarbonate facade and has a solid, clean, classy, open feel to it. Our second customer needs a totally different experience. So upstairs we have the highly customizable, reservable rooms. We have 2 rooms that can fit 10 people each. And there's a little bit more privacy, more options, and the right atmosphere for an event rather than an outing. People can bring in their own smashable material, they can use our range materials, they can take advantage of our stock room furnishings, which include lamps, easily breakable Swedish tables, and other furniture provided by our reliable community supplier. Or we can work with them to design their own personalized furnishing, dressing up the room like their own office space, communications classroom, or a local coffee shop if your barista happened to spell your name wrong. If I learned one thing working with Ty Pennington, it's that with creative carpentry and design, every problem has a solution. Here are a few solutions we came up with. Problem. What if we have a group bigger than 10 that wants to reserve the room? Solution, retractable divider. We open up the room into one big one. Problem, how do we get rid of all that broken material? Solution, back door on all of the lanes with an access hallway that leads straight to the recycling dumpsters we have out back in our large alley. Our employee sweeps the broken material down the access hallway so the range can start being used again as soon as possible and disposes of it behind the scenes. Problem, how do we keep recyclables from getting mixed together? Solution, different lanes for different materials. We have 2 glass lanes, 2 ceramic lanes, and 1 lane that can be used for either depending on demand. Problem, where do we keep all that inventory? Solution, the back third of our store is a well-organized stock room with all of our range materials downstairs and our stock furnishings upstairs. Problem, how do we get items like espresso machines and office equipment upstairs to our room? Solution, a freight elevator in our double-decker stock room, also fun for investors and employees to take rides on, keep that in mind. Problem, won't the building get destroyed pretty quickly? Solution, well, obviously our current building is going to need some significant renovation in order to fit our vision, and that's actually the bulk of our startup costs. Our plan is to shift the door from the middle of our storefront to the north side to provide more room for our range lanes. The whole storefront is going to be redone with baseball bat hitting, plate smashing, slingshotting proof polycarbonate. The lanes are going to be reinforced with metal surfaces, and a back door is going to need to be installed on all of those lanes. Our whole store is going to be semi-soundproof so we don't get sued by Urban Outfitters, and all of the materials are going to need to be durable enough to avoid those pesky, heavy repair and maintenance fees. Obviously, all these costs add up, and we're estimating that this entire project is going to take about $400,000. But by creating the most effective layout possible and doing it right the first time, we're going to minimize costs in the future and improve the feel of our building. Next up's Riley.
Thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome, Riley.
So Seattle as a market is growing rapidly. Over the past year, it's had the fastest growth rate of any major city in the US at a little over 3%. Now, stress among workers and college students is growing rapidly as well. Between capacity-constrained majors, rising housing costs, and gridlock that seemingly never ends, people in Seattle are more stressed than ever. When you have a rising population with a rising stress level and a rising desire to relieve that stress, you get a clear opportunity for a thriving business. When you have a clear opportunity for a thriving business, you'd expect a lot of competition, right? Wrong. With a sketchy atmosphere located in Lake City about 6 miles north of here, Rage Industry is the only direct competitor in the Seattle area. Only 2 people can go at a time, and their prices start at over $70 an hour, and they require appointments. Their location is inaccessible to most of our target customers in our target market, and so Rage Industry doesn't really create competition. With little business opposition, we have the ability to focus more intensely on our customers. The Rec Room's key demographics will be primarily college-age individuals and business professionals, 2 of the highest stress groups known to mankind. Working with student organizations, including Greek houses and youth groups, Rec Room will develop a reputation for a good time with college students now. Our private rooms will be perfect from everything from a rush trip to a birthday bash. Additionally, in the next 2 years, mass transit will be coming to the U District via the incoming light rail station. With growing accessibility, it'll be easier than ever to reach the Rec Room. That accessibility will become more and more favored as our students grow up, graduate, and move elsewhere in Seattle. Working professionals are going to love being just a few minutes away from all the wrecking they could possibly want. Pissed at your boss? Take it out with some coworkers. From that group of interns annoyed with their supervisor to that mid-level manager getting chastised by the CEO about their memos, Rec Room will quickly become a favorite among business professionals. In short, our market opportunity is only growing. Now I'm going to turn things over to Gabby and let her explain exactly how we're going to appeal to our future customers.
To hype up Rec Room for a successful launch, we are focusing on 5 different marketing approaches. The first is a strong digital campaign for advertising and community outreach. Through social media, including top apps like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook, we will be better able to reach our target markets. We've also utilized Google AdWords and Google Places to expand our online search accessibility. So next time you and your friends are trying to figure out what to do with your Friday night, when you have no gag to go on and no one to binge watch Stranger Things with, you can Google search things to do in Seattle, and Rec Room will consistently show up as one of the top choices. Our next marketing approach will be using key famous style influencers. This means that all those famous people on Instagram who have thousands and thousands of followers that you follow will be promoting Rec Room. Here is a photo of Allie, a UW cheerleader who has a strong social media presence. After a heartbreaking UW loss, she might post a photo on Instagram wearing our t-shirt with a caption along the lines of, "Meet me after the game tonight at Rec Room and let's get #wrecked on the Ave." In partnership with these style influencers, we're also utilizing a team of brand ambassadors. This group of young and fun students will be active at community events, giving out swag, spreading information, and holding pop-up booths. Opportunities for tabling would be at the median at 45th and 17th, as well as in Red Square, especially during Wellness Week and Dog Days. These ambassadors will also be promoting our launch party once we get towards the opening of Rec Room. Our launch party will highlight the uniqueness and strengths of our venue while giving opportunities for coupons from booking a group event or leaving a Yelp review. Our final marketing step will be focusing on corporate events. Rec Room is an amazing venue for team and company building, and most of our marketing for this group will be done through business referrals and personal contact. These 5 components will ensure that Rec Room becomes that thing that everyone wants to do on the weekends. Now I'm going to pass things off to Henry to talk about our finances.
Thank you, Gabby. So next I'm here to talk about revenues and expenses. The cool stuff here, right? Revenues, revenues, revenues. That is what I want, that is what the next guy wants, and that is what you want. From Rec Room, we expect to receive from our first year of operations a total of $897,600. From our Rec Room ranges, we expect to receive $744,000, and from our actual theme rooms themselves, we expect to receive $153,600. This number comes from our bare minimum averages of having 100 customers a day in our ranges, each purchasing an average of about 15 items at $2, and having 4 theme room occupations weekly. You know what that means? You know what that means? That these averages means that the first year's revenues can actually be a whole lot higher, that the first year's profits can be a whole lot higher, and that the first year's numbers can increase the numbers in your bank account a whole lot more. For only $45,000 a year, we can purchase a year's worth of supply of our plates and glass bottles. Do you know what that means, what the inventory profit is? If you can't, that is why I'm here. We are looking at a 1900% inventory profit. Since our inventory can never expire or go bad, we will always have a 100% inventory turnover rate. Now, for only $48,000 a year, we can continually set up our theme rooms to the style that we want for a bundle price of $250 from our Goodwill provider. We sell our theme rooms for $800, so that means off every theme room session, we get a $550 profit. That is money that can go from profits to me to you, and you to your family. For our expenses, every year we will have about an average of $369,000 in expenses, and we will have non-recurring expenses of around $400,000, as Jacob mentioned earlier, for things such as restructuring, getting a business license, and so on. Once these non-recurring expenses are out the way, we will no longer have to deal with any of them ever again, and we will have $528,000 in profit, with room for more profit, growth, and efficiency. Not investing in us is like not cashing in your lottery ticket. You never get the money that should be in your pocket. That is why we are here asking for a total of $1.3 million with a 20% ownership stake. Once you see the first year's real numbers, you'll be wishing you had had a chance to invest more for an even bigger ownership stake. Now I'll pass it back to Eric.
Thanks, Henry. So today we've shown that when you have a bad day, when you get stressed, Rec Room is your destination to relieve that stress. Our team is assembled, our market is prime, our location is growing, our brand is solid, and our profits boundless. We have we have assembled the most professional team who is focused on perfect execution and financially fruitful prosperity. Just one location is not just, we're not just a single location. We will expand out of Seattle into Washington State's biggest cities, across the West, and to the greater United States. Our design and brand are brilliant and totally better than any other competition across the country for these style of rage rooms. And this is going to be something that can greatly expand your profits and your income. When you invest in us, you'll be buying into the hottest new trend in Seattle that will quickly spread across the country. It is sure to be a smashing success. Thank you. Now we'll take questions.
I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about how you're imagining the traffic in the place. I mean, so is everybody's going to be walk-in, at least for the lanes part?
Yes, so people walk in this hallway, walk in the hallway, and they go up to the reception desk, and that's where they buy the materials. And then we don't want people just walking in randomly into the range, so we get a group of 5 that is kind of waiting in the waiting area, and then we send everyone in at a time, at 5, and fill
And
all
so
5
you're
lanes.
getting revenue off the sale of the materials and also the rental of the room?
It was a cleanup fee, so they pay that at the reception desk as
Alright.
well. It's a $1 flat fee, but then most of our
So, I mean, how much turnover are you expecting in a lane, a given lane per day? I mean, what assumptions were you making about?
So we were looking at, so our weekly revenue we took was,
The revenue, I have startup costs and expenses, but the.
I'm just trying to get a picture. I mean, are people going to be lining up, or are you going to have one per half an hour, or?
No, it's definitely going to be something you flow through. People are going to probably take turns. They might go in a couple of different times during a group. You can imagine a lot of people coming in at once who are all buying for themselves. They're not like associated with a huge group. It's just a bunch of friends hanging out together. So 5 people will go in at once. The rest of them will be waiting in the waiting area, and then they'll kind of switch through. We expect that average, we're on a typical busy Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of schedule, and even during the week we can expect around 100 people a day to come into our room. And when you average out the people who are going to be spending a lot of time here throwing things and the people who are only going to be throwing a few things, it's going to be about 15 items per person, which is going to be $31 total after the $2 per item fee and then the $1 cleanup fee. So yeah.
So you're anticipating how long will each person be staying in there if they're buying that much material? How long before they're in and out?
So it definitely depends on the type of person. What we expect is that when you go in there, you'll take just a stack of plates or bottles or whatever and set it up how you like, and then destroy it. And that can take probably about 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer if you try and be meticulous with your creativity about how you set it up downrange. And then once you finish the materials that you brought in with you, you exit. Our staff will clean it up and haul it away to the exit access hallway, so that way the next group can go right behind. And so we're, there's probably 10 minutes tops of individual 5 people groups, and that's.
So if a group comes in, each one will, you're figuring, so I mean 3 or 4 people come in, they're each going to buy their own materials, and then
they can go in together in the same group, but then they'll each have their own individual lane.
and they just kind of figure out what their own wrecking regimen is.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, the whole concept is that you can do whatever the hell you want. So,
the dividers between the range is also clear, so it's not like you're completely cut off from the people who are in.
Do you
other
think
ranges.
that might
You
be
kinda
an
see what they're doing,
impediment, that
steal
maybe
ideas.
people want privacy to do their wrecking?
No, we think that the group aspect and keeping people in larger groups is more important than letting
Right.
people.
if you're really concerned about privacy, we do have the rooms, and so you don't, it could just be one person who wants to reserve that. And the cost for the rooms is based off of the materials you decide to smash in there as well.
All right,
if
so
you're trying to
$800
bring in
for the
a
room,
TV
right?
And we can supply that, then you're just gonna have to pay a price on that TV.
The 800 was an average.
Yeah.
It's based on.
What am
there's
I
4 options
buying for 800? What am I getting for $800?
You're
Am I
getting,
getting a certain amount of time in there? I mean,
You don't necessarily get a certain amount of time, but we took that average of about half an hour for you to destroy things, and then an average of half an hour to clean it up. But you get a couple desks, a couple shelves, some lamps, and
The whole
then,
idea is
like,
that all of that
picture
would be
frames.
destroyed by the end of the,
Yeah, so,
should be.
to get your money's worth, you'd have to destroy everything in the room.
yeah, we expect that there is a demand for that, but it may not be, it's definitely not gonna be our primary, demand as far as customers. So, we don't expect that there to be much time concerns. Maybe we'll have a couple groups on a Friday afternoon who might schedule back-to-back sessions in there, in which case we would have to say, okay, you have 45 minutes. Otherwise, we're kind of just gonna let them go at it, and it could take them literally 5 minutes, or it could take them, you know, an hour to meticulously destroy whatever they want to. And that also gives them the opportunity to bring in their own things, so, you know, your picture of your ex-girlfriend, you can just plaster all over the place and just like, you know, destroy it.
Would be the possibility of just having a chair and a nice beer after you're done and just kind of just satisfy.
We would look into maybe adding alcohol options in the future if that's something you're interested in as our investor. But as of right now, we'd like to keep it simple and kind of stick to the
All right.
the base option.
A couple of other questions from others.
Sure, here in the front.
What kind of measures are you guys taking for safety?
So,
for example, if somebody gets hurt, that opens up a huge liability.
This is way less than the normal safety equipment. For the range, you're gonna have a kind of a paintball mask where your whole face is protected, just because in case there's any shrapnel. I mean, it's 15 feet deep, so the likelihood that you're throwing it all the way there and shrapnel gets back, you have to be like an MLB pitcher to get stuff that far back. But you have to be protected beyond that. And then there's you can't go, there's a little divider so that your torso is kind of protected. So you've ever been to a gun range, it kind of looks like that. So there's opportunity to walk down range and set up, but then you come back and you'll be protected. With the rooms, it's going to be a little bit more extensive because people can, you know, be swinging baseball bats or whatever around, and there might be more than one person. We'll have to buy, and that's part of our like $3,000 equipment cost. Startup cost is $3,000 for that. I say it's just this one here. Yeah, I say directing weapons, but that also includes safety equipment, and so that comes with like a little bit of chest protection, gloves, and a bigger helmet.
Cool. Next question?
It's also, sorry, I should say, it's also the reason we can't have, we've shied away from alcohol in the rooms.
All right, here.
You mentioned that you can bring your own items to rec. Does that
So,
just charge $1 cleanup fee for however?
no, so downstairs you have to buy our items. Upstairs you have the option of bringing in your own items, which is why it's also an incentive to do the room, is because you have more options there. Downstairs we do have to keep it just to our own materials that they have to buy, and that's how we keep our revenues up.
Well, actually, yeah, and our cost low, because if we're recycling and processing all of that waste and sorting through it, having a consistent sourcing makes it so that our disposal costs are significantly lower. Already our utilities are pretty high because of that, but being able to sort through them and kind of separate it and make sure we ensure the quality of whatever glass or ceramic we're breaking is consistent.
One exception that I did forget to mention is the picture frames. The reason why that's an option is putting somebody who you're upset with in a picture. And so that would be the one exception, is bringing pictures to put inside those frames.
Yeah, and there'll be a charge to do that, but we haven't decided on how much that.
One more question.
So you talked about the ranges being like essentially like you have to be 15 back. So is there an option for like individuals or smaller groups of people to do like hands-on destruction without having to rent one of your larger rooms, or is the range solely they have to be back 15?
So he did mention a barrier at the end of the range. That was, oh, does it open?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for hands-on stuff with the baseball bats or throwing it more at the floor, anything, there was the option to go inside. However, we don't have more than one person per range, because then there's more chaos that could result in more injuries.
All right, great, thank you very much.
Real quick, we would like like to invite our initial partner, Jack, down here for a second. So Jack has already put up a sizable initial investment. So congratulate him and thank him. We've gotten.
All right.